Hello, everyone. This is Demia Avery in conjunction with ConnectCapeFear.com. And we have a lovely lady here with us today. We have Krystine Hobson. Here she is CEO of Premier Staffing Solutions of North Carolina. Welcome.
Oh, thank you, Jamia.
You're quite welcome. So, the first question we want to ask is Premier Staffing has been in business for over 25 years, and we know you guys to be the most trusting, the most reliable, and things like that. So, what would you say would be your reason for the new direction that you're going in?
Yeah, I think the climate in hiring and finding a job, lately it's been really challenging. And so a temp service or a temp to hire service staffing agency really has that temporary feeling.
Hmm.
And I feel like people are gun shy, they're not 100, no, I want a permanent position. I'm looking for a permanent position. So we want to make sure we are shifting everything over to people understanding that
Mhm.
we are a temp to hire, which is a permanent position. And that 90 days in between what we call the temporary, to hire position is
Mhm.
just like any other company that onboards you and gives you that 90-day, kind of grace period to see if things work out. So
Yeah.
we're trying to educate and let people know, listen, we are trying to put you in a permanent position, and our clients, we want permanent people for you.
Mm. And with that being said, the are the people appreciating? Are your clients appreciating the new direction that you guys going in?
Yeah, so far so good,
Yeah.
right? It's definitely sometimes you have to, let a client know I'm sorry, we're not immediately temp staffing, in
Mm.
24 hours. But it's gone well so far.
So, what are some of the challenges that you guys? Because I know with with the climate of today
Yeah.
and the ebbs and flows of your company,
Mhm.
what challenges do you guys face?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is yeah, oh my gosh. There are so many. There are weeks where we are reaching out and we're talking to new clients and old clients, and nobody seems to need anything.
Mm.
And you're having the conversation, they need staff.
Yeah.
They need staff because they're telling you that they need staff, but they really want to kind of do things on their own. You still kind of have that stigma. I don't want to pay somebody to do something that I feel like I can do on my own.
Mm.
So you do face that, and then they do call eventually because they really do need your experience and your expertise. From a candidate, or we call them talent, a talent standpoint,
Hmm.
there it's hard out there, and
Yeah.
right, and they are sending out 1,000 resumes and they're getting ghosted, and letting them know first in this day and age, it never crossed my mind. Oh, are you scam? uh, People call me that.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they are afraid. They have been scammed so often. They are afraid. And so, you're really kind of having that conversation.
Mm.
Um, and letting them know that you are not in a void, right?
Yeah.
If you are having contact with us and we're trying to have contact with you on a regular basis, you're meeting us face to face. We're definitely a great advocate and a great, additional solution for you. So I think that's what we face.
Yeah.
And that's so much different than it was years ago. The last 3 months, I can't tell you how many people will call us and say, "Oh, we want to make sure you're real," or "Do you have a brick and mortar office that we can walk into?" It's amazing.
Wow, I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
Wow. And I would imagine too, because I've had quite a few friends that had issues with finding jobs now. So do you guys find it difficult now with the, like I said, this ebbs and flows, like with the job market? Like you might
Mhm.
have a push for jobs one time, a
Mhm.
whole bunch of jobs, and then all of a sudden there's a lull.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's in every industry,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
Things ebb and flow. And we are, doing a little bit of an addition or a switch in industry because things have changed so much. But North Carolina and the Wilmington area is booming.
Yeah.
And there are jobs out there. I mean, we're getting calls on a very regular basis
Hmm.
from clients that need people.
Yeah.
So, we're just booming. The whole state is booming. Wilmington is booming. The Triangle is booming.
Yeah.
Charlotte is really starting to boom. And there are manufacturers coming to town, so many professional services coming to town.
Yeah.
They're there. The jobs are there.
Love it.
So again, we act as kind of a broker to
Mm.
put people together,
Mm-hmm.
and just to let anybody knows, because I know we don't talk about this very often, but for a candidate to come in, it's free.
Oh,
It's free
nice.
to get into our service, and
Yeah.
that's, I don't want anybody to think, oh, well, what does it cost me to get in? Come on, come
Right.
on, and bring me your skill set, your soft skills and your hard skills, and let's
Yeah.
see what we can do.
Well, we talked about the challenges, and what's funny is that I think you kind of answered this question, but if you wanted to add anything to it, I wanted to talk about some of the positives. And as far as Wilmington is concerned, I know you said that things are starting to boom now.
Yeah.
So do you see any other the positives coming out of this?
I do. I think that one of the things that we do, like I said, we kind of broker these situations. So as there's growth and people are getting jobs, they're getting engaged in the community. The community is growing from a really wonderful perspective.
Yeah.
And downtown, I've lived all over the country. This is first of all, it's my favorite city.
Yeah.
And this is my favorite downtown of any place that I've ever been,
Hmm.
and things are growing by leaps and bounds, and outside of Wilmington too, right? You go into Brunswick County, or Pender County, or Oslo, and things are really growing. And so it's out there.
Yeah.
Opportunity is out there, and I'm excited for it, not just from a business perspective, but
Hmm.
Wilmingtonian. That's a really hard word to
That
say. That's a
Wilmingtonian. Yeah.
Wilmingtonian. You know, being here and watching, people thrive and meet each other and love where they live and learn to love their jobs, and clients learn to love the people that are, coming in and working for them. We want ownership all the way around.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now let's talk about this AI thing. That is everywhere. That is everywhere. So do you get people like calling in and say, do you guys use any AI
Yeah.
tools to help with your services? Or can you talk about that if you guys use any
Yeah,
AI?
yeah, sure. First of all, every newer ATS system or CRM system, and those are applicant tracking systems
Mm-hmm.
or customer service systems, all have some kind of AI
Mm-hmm.
built in, right? So you can put in the needs that, in our case, we can go ahead and type the needs in a search bar, and it will come up with all the matches, and it will actually 100% match, 87% match,
Oh,
62%
nice.
match. Yes.
Yeah.
So if our system is working correctly, which means we're putting our information in the database correctly,
Yeah.
it's a lovely help. But those still are based on keywords,
Mm-hmm.
right,
Mm-hmm.
within the system. And it's the same problem that everybody's having when they're applying to position. If your resume is not geared for specific keywords to match a job,
Mm-hmm.
you're not getting seen, right? Your resume is just going into the void someplace.
Yeah.
And I worked in the corporate world, and it could be a definite problem
Yeah.
with that. So, yes, our system does come with a built-in AI. We've also built our own AI system,
Nice.
and it really kind of helps us with not just hard skills, which our ATS system does,
Mm-hmm.
but we have a way of negotiating soft skills
Mm-hmm.
and mission,
Yeah.
and any other kind of match that could potentially be between the talent and a client. And it has served us really, really well.
Nice.
It's been hit or miss, right? We're constantly tweaking things,
Mm-hmm.
and there are additional steps, but so far so good. So I think when I say embrace the technology,
Yeah.
you use it as a tool.
Mm-hmm.
We don't use it as the job finder or the talent finder.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tool for us to match people, because what I consider our biggest strength is we're still hands on.
Mm.
We're meeting you face to face.
Yeah.
We're having a long conversation. We're filling out all your information. We're
Mm-hmm.
asking you questions that really help our internal AI tools, help match you with a client.
Now, you know what I was thinking? Like, if I were the talent, I would think of because you guys are using the AI
Hmm.
tools. to me, that's an extra bonus
Mm.
because in my elementary head, I would think because it's matching all the different skill sets, I think, and it's an ignorant thought, you guys, and I'm telling you, I think, sometimes when we think of staffing solutions, a lot of times they're picking the same people.
Sure.
In my head, I'm thinking that. So to me, when you're using AI tool, I'm like, I have a better chance because now they're seeing my resume now.
Right. Right.
So I think that's a plus.
It is a plus. And
Hmm.
the what you just said actually touches on the temp portion, right?
Hmm.
So if we were a temp service, we would be using probably some of the same people over and over and over
Hmm.
again to go out. But because we're not a temp service
Hmm.
and we're a temp to hire service,
Right.
that, we're putting you in the position and hopefully that is, permanent,
Yeah.
for whatever that longevity is. But I agree with you. You're using the tool is not using you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that. Now, I'm a huge advocate for customer service.
Yeah.
I am. And I truly believe that when you have great customer service at at the head at the company, then it trickles down to the talent. The
Mhm.
talent works together. The talent
Yeah.
is, if the staff is excellent, the talent is excellent, and you guys work together.
Yeah.
Do you guys really believe in great customer service there?
100%.
Yeah.
We talk about internally radical accountability,
Mm.
which unfortunately I think we definitely have to talk about because I want to make sure that my team is on top of everything. So
Mm.
we hear over and over again from both clients and talent, I never hear back from anybody.
Mm.
Or they take the job description and they take the job order and maybe they fill it a month later, which sometimes happens, right? That can happen,
Yeah.
especially if it's a hard find or a hard fill. But you don't hear any from the agency for weeks at a time.
Hmm.
And so we make sure that we are touching every single client that we're actively working for
Hmm.
every 2 or 3 days, right?
Mm.
And if candidates are being submitted, they're being nominated to particular positions, that the candidates are being touched in that same, time frame, 2 or 3 days, just to let them know what's going on.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Right?
It does.
Yeah. So if sometimes a candidate or a client is taking a really long time
Mm.
and they're saying, oh, we have, this person has to look at the resumes, this person has to, so it, stretches out. And in the meantime, you have talent that is actively looking for a job.
Hmm.
And so, we're constantly negotiating that, everything isn't, oh, we're pulling that, we're pushing that button right now,
Yeah.
and in 24 hours you're going to get a job. It doesn't always work that way. I
Mm.
wish it did in a perfect
Yeah.
world.
Now, as far as your services are concerned, is it like healthcare or what type of services do you guys
Yeah,
supply?
mostly professional services and some manufacturing. So the
Okay.
manufacturing is growing. We did a lot of manufacturing and labor previously with quite a bit of healthcare.
Okay.
Healthcare has changed so much in the last few years, where we did many, many healthcare type offices years ago.
Hmm.
Because big corporations are buying up all the smaller
Mm.
offices,
Yeah.
a lot of times they have their own internal recruiting teams and, under their HR umbrella.
Right.
So we will do some of the smaller ones and the administrative uh, jobs that can be open in some of the, offices that stand alone, right? Are
Hmm.
not under some giant corporation, and office management, that kind of thing. I no longer do nurses, and we don't do doctors negotiating,
Okay.
anything like that. There are particular services that do a great job just in nurses and doctors.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay. Now, in North Carolina, have you seen a big change in like the hiring processes and
Mhm.
things like that here in North Carolina?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of what we talked about earlier. You know, there are positions that are not necessarily real positions. That's happening actually worldwide, but that's
Mm.
happening nationwide. It does happen in North Carolina also. Companies want to build their own pipeline,
Mm.
and what I think is happening, whether there's a job open and you have 1,000 applicants for it for one or two jobs, or you have no job open any longer, but you may have a job open in a couple of months, and so they're pipelining applicants. And what that is doing is creating a lot of distrust and mistrust between really, really good applicants and really amazing talent and jobs, uh, industries that are open. And so that's been happening. AI, again, a tool.
Hmm.
Um, but for many years before we called it AI, they had the algorithm that would, sift
Yeah.
through your resume. And if your resume wasn't done professionally or wasn't done well, right,
Hmm.
you had an issue there. So, yeah, I think that's changed a lot. Now, having said that, healthcare is getting huge in North Carolina. Tech is getting huge in North Carolina,
Okay.
not necessarily in this area, but if you're moving to the Triangle, big tech companies.
Hmm.
We've all heard Amazon Center is coming out to, right, the Leland.
Yeah.
Center, I think. We've got some great innovative people, industry coming, some logistic centers coming in. And so the jobs are out there, the companies are out there. Um, just hiring is very different than it used to be 10 years ago. We are definitely hands on, and people are frustrated. Even 10 years ago, somebody would walk into the staffing agency and say, I can't walk in anymore and fill out an application. They'll say, oh, you have to go online and fill it out.
Yeah.
And, if you're an old person like me, 10 years ago, I'd be like, what do you mean I have to go online to, can I talk to a manager? Do you have a piece of paper I could fill out
I
a
could just fill it
minute?
out right
Right?
now.
There's no place that I know that exists any longer. Not one.
Wow.
Mm,
Isn't that something?
yeah, amazing. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, like connectcapefear.com, they're big advocates for community.
Mm.
So, do you guys do anything specific for the community, or would you just say the company uh, itself is working for the community? What would
Yeah,
you say?
I think there's a little bit of both. The history of the company, Peggy O'Leary, who was the founder of the company, and
Mhm.
my aunt, I worked for her for several years. And then when she decided to retire, we
Mhm.
worked out a partnership and now she's retired.
Yeah.
Um, she was very, very active in the community. And while I worked for her for a long time before, and so she was on the board of the Red Cross, we would do things for the Red Cross. We did all kinds of fundraising. She farmed me out to, PGA tour to, volunteer time, for
Uh-huh.
fundraising. She's very active in the Rotary and the different chambers. I'm just starting to get active in the North Brunswick Chamber. I'm part of the Southport Chamber, but haven't been really active yet. Working my way back into the Wilmington
Okay.
Chamber.
Yes.
Um, and so we have been active in the community over the last 25 years. Carousel Center, those
Nice.
kind of things. The Impact Club, which I don't know is in North Carolina anymore. That was something I was personally involved in.
Hmm.
I loved that. So we are getting back out there as we're kind of turning our ship a little bit.
Yeah.
And we will eventually, hopefully in the shorter term, not the longer term, have somebody that is solely on projects and working with nonprofits. And
Mm.
so we've already been talking about that. So that's moving forward. So I would love to tell you that, we have our fingers in every single pie, but it's
But you guys done a lot though.
we have, over the years, we've all been in the middle of something.
Yeah.
So yeah, we would like to go ahead and be more active in the community.
Now, what would you want people to remember or want to know about your company?
Um, I think my favorite thing is when you have a phone call and they just say, thank you, I didn't know this was possible, right?
Mm,
I didn't know I could be back in the workforce again. I've
love
been
that.
out of the workforce a little while. I didn't know if whatever skills that I did have translated.
Yeah.
From a client perspective, sometimes you have those hard conversations because they're looking for the unicorn. Everybody does. You want what you want.
Yeah.
And you get a phone call and they say, I without our conversations, I probably would have never hired this person, and it's the best hire I've had in
Mm,
4 or 5 years. So we are. building the community. We're helping the community. And I want to take that word out. I don't want to say help. I feel like we're of service to the
Of
community.
service.
And that is where my heart is personally.
Yeah.
My whole life, my ex-husband used to tell me all the time, if you got paid to do all the volunteering, we would be millionaires. So, I have a service heart. Our team has a service heart, and the company, as it continues to grow, I think that's going to be the bottom line.
Awesome. Now tell everybody how they can
Mhm.
find more information about
Yeah.
Premier and where can they go?
Yeah, please look us up, premierstaffnc.com. There may not be a job that you're looking for on our website, but go ahead and put your information in. Somebody is going to personally call you within 24 hours. Then they're going to send you some next step emails, and you will have a conversation from there. That's the best place to find us. You can give us a call, 910-793-1010. Somebody answers the phone all the time, and we would love to talk to
Love it. All right, guys. Well, we want to thank Krystine Hobson for coming in today. She's such a lovely lady. She
you. Oh,
have a
thank you.
lovely heart. So, serving, what was the thing? So you said service. I love something that you said. You have a service heart,
Service.
and you can definitely
Yeah.
feel that from her. So thank you so much for coming
Thank you
in.
for having me.
All right, guys. We are out of here. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.